Hey gang, welcome to the channel. My name is Andy. Okay, behind me, it's a 997.2, the second generation of 997. In my humble opinion, I think they are one of the best looking 911s ever. Now, over the past 18 months, the second gen 997, like so many things in the Porsche world, has seen values going through the roof, which has a lot of people asking, does the drive match the price tag? Today we're going to see if we can find out. Now, before we get into it, if you don't want to miss any of the content that I'm dropping and you want to do me a favor, then hit that subscribe button down below and the notification button as well. All right, like I just said, today I get to drive this bad boy, but last night I got to film it. Right, the day after, the night before, finally getting to drive this thing. So this is a base Carrera with a 6-speed manual gearbox, Porsche exhaust. My first observation of this car, and I had it driving home last night, is it is just a beautiful place to be. The interior is absolutely lovely and everything just has a feeling of quality that I think was actually missing in the first generation 997. Now, I have to say that driving this home, my concern was actually that the car is so refined that when it came time to head to the twisties and actually give it a belting, that it wouldn't actually deliver the excitement that I want from a 911. Boy, was I wrong. So I needn't have worried about performance because it is unbelievable. So coming out of a corner like this, the nose tucks in, squeeze the throttle. Sounds great. Oh, it just piles on the power. It's unreal. So between the first gen and the second gen 997, horsepower increased from 325 horsepower to 345 horsepower. Torque also was increased by about 15 foot-pounds of torque, and you can really feel the difference that those numbers make. When it comes to a 911, power is only really part of the story, isn't it? Because the real story with these cars is the way they handle, the way they turn in, and this car is just spectacular in that respect. Taking high-speed sweepers like these that I'm on right now, the car just feels so planted, so composed, the turn-in's beautiful, and it just inspires confidence. Now, this car's running on stock dampers with lowering springs and spacers, and that combination seems to work beautifully. There's little to no body roll, and yet the car remains really composed on surface changes, undulations. Nothing seems to actually upset the ride quality of the car. Okay, so what's it like when the corners tighten up? Because not everything we drive is high-speed sweepers. Well, that is what I think is this car's real party trick. It just feels nimble, it feels agile, and it feels chuckable in the tight stuff. You just tip it in, the steering's so sharp, you can change directions mid-corner if you need to and just adjust that, and then oh. So it's probably reasonably fair to say that I'm resoundingly positive about these cars that I drive. Yep, good point. Are there things in this car that aren't perfect? Here's a couple of things I think could be improved. The shift for me in this 6-speed manual, you can tell that the designer's job and the engineer's job was to create a manual shifter that can still do the daily commute very comfortably and very easily, and that's why it's a very light shift. It's quite a delicate shift, actually. I would love it if the shift were a little bit shorter and if it had just a little more resistance going through the gate. You know, then you'd really get that feeling of really having to row through the gears. The other, let's call it opportunity from my perspective, is the Porsche Sports exhaust. It has a lovely note to it, and I've filmed this car driving past me many times, and it sounds beautiful from the outside. I think it could benefit from an aftermarket exhaust to really just increase that volume some. This is always my favorite section of road when testing a car. Oh man. Oh, that is so good. That is so good. Porsche, man. They just make such great cars, and they always have. It's hard. It's really difficult not to just be passionate and excited about these cars when you drive them and end up, I don't know, I think if you're not kind of giggling like a school kid, then, I don't know, maybe you've just forgotten how lucky you are to be driving these cars. So, how does this car stack up? And is it worth the money, especially when you consider that these second-gen 997s are in some cases going for more than first-generation 991s? Look, I think it depends on what you're looking for from your car. If you're looking for a car where there are fewer on the road, and let's not forget that this second-gen 997 was released in the middle of the global financial crisis, and that's reflected in the low numbers that you see on the road, and certainly the low numbers you see for sale. So if you want something a little more special, if you want something that has almost the refinement of the 991 but the agility of the older cars, then I think this second gen 997 is the absolute sweet spot. And in actual fact, I would say this car feels more akin to a small Nimble 991 than simply an updated 997, which I think makes it an incredibly compelling argument. You know, as is always the case when I do these reviews, for want of a better word, I always end up wanting the car at the end, and my ridiculous imaginary dream garage just continues to expand, and with this car, it's done so again. I want to say a big thank you to my good friend Anthony for letting me drive this over the last few days. I've really enjoyed it, and I feel really blessed to be able to do so. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You don't know how much I appreciate it. Please share the videos and subscribe to the channel. It lets me know that you're interested in what I'm putting out, and it means you're never going to miss the content that I'm dropping. Thank you so much for watching as always, and I'll see you on the next one.